Welcome everyone. We'll just give it a couple of minutes and then we will start off. Can you give the thumbs up if you can hear me? Fantastic. All right, we'll officially kick this webinar off. Firstly, thank you for attending. Today we're going over the new Surface Copilot Plus PCs, which are due into country this week. So we're lucky enough to have with us on this webinar today Michael Townsend, who is the Senior Go-to-Market Manager for Surface, representing Asia, and Patrick Wan, who is the Distribution Manager from Microsoft as well. So we will be doing questions today. So you can either pop those in the chat as we go on, or we will have a Q&A session at the end. And also at the end, make sure you hang around because one lucky participant will be winning a Laptop 7 Copilot Plus device today. So today's agenda, we're just going to go across through the resurgence of the PC market and Surface portfolio updates, which will be done by Michael. Then we have the Copilot Plus PC considerations, just what you need to look out for when we are selling those. That will be done by Patrick, and then it'll come back to myself where we'll go over some of the pricing and current promos in market, and then we'll have our Q&A session and the price draw. So over to you, Michael.
Thank you, Mike C. And welcome everyone. So I'm the Surface Portfolio Product Manager for Asia. Let me just go forward a slide. Actually, I'm having troubles navigating. There we go. So we are starting to see a little bit of a resurgence of the PC market. It's been a pretty soft couple of years, and for some of you, probably a soft start to the first half of the calendar year as well. The economy's, struggling, cost of living, inflation, all of that kind of stuff is kind of weighing on people's minds right now. But there's some compelling reasons why people are going to, I guess, upgrade and update in the next 12 months. But just a quick history of why just now we're starting to see post-COVID refreshes. If you think back, there was some panic buying really in 20 and 21, even 22. We ran out of toilet paper. Every crappy monitor, desk and chair was taken in your local IT or Harvey Norman. And then this was followed by prolonged declines with global economic factors that we're seeing still play out right now, interest rates and inflation. Many organizations also suffered redundancies and their COVID programs wound down. And vendors and customers themselves also ended up overstocked. To this day, I've still got lentils in my cupboard. I've still got about 3 liters hand sanitizer and a lot of masks still floating around. So that is the same for devices. And if you think back to those devices bought in 2020 and 21, they are aging. They're now out of warranty. And in that panic buying and ongoing shortages, we didn't always choose the right devices. And they need to be replaced, just like I'm onto my 3rd Ergo chair right now. I panic bought a chair, bought another one, whatever was available. I'm finally on something that I've had for a couple of years now. The other one is remote and hybrid work is still an underlying theme. And many corporations are struggling with the right model for their business. How many days in the office, how many days can you work remotely? But regardless of the model you choose, you need capable devices to support, I guess, a hybrid model ongoing. Then we've got the upcoming Windows 10 end of support in October 2025. Organizations are going to be compelled to upgrade to Windows 11. Things like support, security, performance, and even compatibility will drive that migration. And that should be happening right now. If we think about the hardware that's out there, a lot of the latest devices that we are launching right now will only support Windows 11. So that's another reason to upgrade. But there's still a huge amount of commercial customers who are still on Windows 10. We're seeing 50 to 70%, depending on what source you use. And if you're thinking about which version of Windows 11, you should be testing Windows 11 24 H2. That's the latest, and that's the ones that's shipping on our Copilot Plus PCs that we're going to talk about in just a second. And then AI integration is reshaping commercial PCs. They offer tangible benefits to business. They streamline workflows, automate tasks. They do the mundane or boring stuff on your behalf, and they provide personalized experiences. And the newest Copilot Plus PCs have even more NPU or neural processing unit enhanced experiences, and I'll talk about that in a second. And then really, who is designed or who is positioned to bring this all together? If you think about it, Surface is the one place where the best of Microsoft comes together. It's the only device brand built by Microsoft specifically for Microsoft experiences, and leading the way in AI PC category creation. Really, this is what Surface was designed to do. Now, you've probably seen some of the news about our latest Copilot Plus PCs. The reviews have been excellent. I've been using one for the last few weeks, and they're shipping now. And Mike is going to go through a little bit more detail on pricing and programs related to those. So really, just a recap of what we did launch. We've got a new range of Copilot Plus PCs that bring AI from the cloud to your edge devices with the new Qualcomm Snapdragon Plus and Elite processors. These new processors from Qualcomm have the most powerful NPU, neural processing unit, that we've seen in a PC to date, and they can give up to 22 hours battery life on the laptop, for example. You may be asking, didn't we just launch some new Surface devices just a few months ago? We did, and they are still the latest Intel-based Surface devices, and we're providing customers, or at least our commercial customers, silicon choice on our Surface range. We also have the new Surface Laptop 7th edition, the Pro 11th edition, and we've got a new Pro Flex keyboard, which is our first ever wireless Pro keyboard. This was also a really big moment for Windows and developers. There's new experiences in Windows 11, like recall coming soon, live translations, and there is more to come that will take advantage of the NPU. Then there's also Prism emulation for ARM64. It's faster and supports more apps than ever. And Pat's going to talk a little bit about that in a second. And we had some great launch partners like Adobe, CapCut, and DaVinci Resolve talking about their NPU accelerated experiences. And the NPU is great at handling AI workloads. It does it efficiently, and it handles workloads that may have been thrown at a GPU before. So first up on the laptop is the processor. This is running the Snapdragon X Elite and Plus processors with an NPU that has 45 TOPS, or trillion operations per second. And this is our longest lasting device, 22 hours battery life, which is all day or even into next day battery life. The all new 120 Hertz screen with HDR looks amazing for content creators, or even simply watching a movie or scrolling. It's a better experience. We've also squeezed a slightly larger 13.8-inch screen versus the 13.5-inch we've got on the laptop 6, and it's in a smaller form factor, and we managed to do that on the 15-inch laptop model as well. There's also a larger haptic touchpad, making navigation more inclusive, quieter, and there's really great feedback on just the click that goes with that as well. And of course, it comes with a Copilot button. Then we've got the Pro. This is the most powerful Pro we've ever launched, and it's got the same Snapdragon X Elite and Plus processor options. And for the first time on a Surface, we've got an OLED display option. It goes all the way to 900 nits, so that'll make it great for outdoors or even in bright indoor lighting situations. The Pro also gets an NFC reader that we first saw released on the Intel Pro 10. And we've also got 5G SKUs coming in October. And then the all-new keyboard option. I've been using this over the last couple of days. It's called the Surface Pro Flex keyboard. It actually has less flex. It's got these carbon fiber stringers in it, and it makes it a lot quieter. So less flex, the key feel is a little bit nicer, and also just having a haptic touchpad means the clicks are quieter as well. So it's just an all-round nicer experience, and the haptic touchpad also gives it inclusivity, I guess, features for people who might be mobility impaired, especially with their fingers. And we've introduced a few new keys: a mute key, which is essential these days, a snipping key, which does away with the complicated Windows Shift S combo that you might be doing right now, and of course, again, a Copilot key. So this is a great keyboard experience, and really opens up just different modes of using the device and wirelessly. And I'll be handing to Pat now for some Copilot Plus PC considerations. Thanks all.
Fantastic. Thanks, Michael. Lovely. Oh, I think we've just lost the presentation there. Hold on a second.
Got it, Pat. I can see it.
Oh, you've got it? Okay. That's weird. Must be a tenant issue. I'm just representing now. Thanks, Michael, for the overview on the portfolio. I was just putting a few messages into the chat around my recent experience using the laptop 7 and Pro 11. It really is all-day battery life, and that really comes from the efficiency of the new Snapdragon X Elite chipset. But my next section is really just to kind of give you a bit of a heads up on, I'll set up the scene around what we've done around AI for the last 10 years within Surface and hardware, and then kind of give you a few call outs on what to expect and what to look out for when you're testing these devices. But we always like to kind of start off with a bit of an overview of our journey with AI. AI has been a term that's been used and thrown around quite a bit in the last few years, but Microsoft has been on this journey for since 2016, and with our hardware since 2017. Right, we've introduced lots of interesting features to make use of early implementations of the NPU, such as the eye gaze technology on our Pro X, which aims to give people a more engaging hybrid experience. So instead of having your eyes obviously looking at your screen, flipping your eyes up so it looks like you're looking straight into the camera towards your audience. And then through the years, we've implemented other AI features into our Hub Smart camera. So for example, it processes on device what's going on in the room, and it reframes automatically. And through the years, we've brought that into our devices, and you'll kind of see if I get a bit too animated, you'll see my frame kind of move with me, because that's what my camera's doing as well. It's seeing where the activity is, and it's kind of reframing the webcam as such. And earlier this year, as Mike kind of mentioned, we launched the Pro 10 and Laptop 6, our first generation of AI PCs with the Intel Core Ultra chipset, and then more recently with the Copilot Plus PCs. And just, I want to reinforce again, for our commercial customers, we want to give silicon choice to the customers. And it really comes down to two things. There are customers who really want to be at the bleeding edge, at the forefront of the new technologies, and those will probably be testing Copilot Plus PCs hopefully this week, as soon as those devices land in New Zealand. But then there's always customers who might have specific line of business applications which might need kernel grade access, and that is where kind of the silicon choice comes in, and Intel is still absolutely an option for our commercial customers. And so again, why do we have two families of PCs? we want that customer choice, but also we want to give the opportunity for customers to try our industry-leading AI experiences with our new Copilot Plus PCs. And if I kind of think about the customers I've spoken with, again, customers will be at very different stages of their AI adoption journey, right? You'll have customers who will choose the traditional x86 Intel architecture because they've got more applications that rely on that compatibility. But as you'll see, and as you'll see on the next slide, and as Mike kind of mentioned, we have been working really hard through our Prism emulation layer to ensure that from launch today, that the majority of x86 applications are compatible through emulation. And then as ISVs and as software vendors redevelop their applications, either for the ARM64 platform, but hopefully even better, utilize the NPU and the efficient processing unit that it is dedicated for AI workloads. And as they kind of redevelop their applications, that will have native support for even more applications. And so I'm going to quickly skip a slide which calls out some of the things to look out for when testing. But I bring this up just to kind of showcase to you applications that we have tested that are compatible on Windows 11 on ARM. And the reason why I bring this up is just to kind of share the confidence that we are tracking hundreds of applications and their compatibility, either in ARM64, sorry, x80, 64-bit emulation or ARM64 native runtime. Now, the best place to look for this is on a community site called windowsonarm.org. Michael or Mike, I might just get you to throw that into the chat for the team to look at. But you'll see that that is constantly being updated and constantly changing. Most recently for some of our education customers or customers who have printers in a commercial environment, PaperCut, I think, just brought on ARM64 compatibility over the weekend. So this is a really fast moving space. And again, if you're having issues with any applications, we've got an App Assure team and we've got some links to share with you shortly. And I'll go into a bit more depth there. But when we think about customers' AI strategy and how does Surface kind of connect into that, if customers want to focus on just integrating AI into productivity and want to have a kind of taste test of AI, then absolutely the AI PCs that we have right now, the Pro 10 and Laptop 6 running Intel, are right for them. But if they're looking to push the boundaries, try new experiences, experience the efficiency of the new Snapdragon X Elite chipset, then absolutely the Copilot Plus PCs running on ARM is a great choice for them. But of course, with Surface devices and with the hope that most of these customers are modern managing our devices, they are also more than welcome to choose a hybrid between the two, whether it's executives who might need, for example, a Pro 11 5G for that connectivity, but also efficiency on the road, versus, say, a developer who's running x86 native applications using a laptop 6 for that extra power. So there's absolutely that choice for customers. And it's just to reinforce that just because the Pro 11 and Laptop 7 are coming into market, the Pro 10 and Laptop 6 isn't going anywhere. And so the Ingram team can absolutely share this with you. We'll get a copy of this deck to you post this call. But this is a checklist we're sharing very frequently with our customers and our channel. It's basically a laundry list of things that you should absolutely check before buying a large-scale deployment of our Copilot Plus PCs. And the reason for this, right up the top, is really obvious. These devices only run Windows 11 24H2. The reason for that is because of a dependency on Wi-Fi 7. These devices do come with Wi-Fi 7. And a lot of the new features are only available on Windows 24H2. So please do not downgrade these devices. They require 24H2 to run smoothly. Modern management, as I kind of mentioned before, is highly recommended. The reason for this is you'll get a lot more insights as to the health of the customer's fleet, but also you can identify any issues ahead of time through modern management. So, for example, a really good example is with the implementation of Copilot into Intune, you'll be able to basically have a chatbot to speak to and ask, hey, what is the carbon footprint of these devices? Or you can compare Pro 10 versus Pro 11 carbon footprint, but also you could look at what is the security or compliance of my different fleets. And also it helps you identify whether there are devices that might be out of warranty, that might not have encryption, BitLocker might be out of date, and it helps you identify issues before it becomes a really big problem within your organization. Surface Management Portal is definitely where we're investing a lot of our money with respect to improving what it like the management experience for these devices. And so building insights for IT managers, enabling direct warranty requests to be submitted into our supply chain, enabling quicker advanced exchange of these devices if you have the right warranty. That's kind of where we want all of our customers to be managing their Surface devices. And that's only possible if you've got the right M365 licensing. But of course, again, if a customer isn't modern managing their devices, there are absolutely still benefits to using the Surface Support Portal through M365 and Intune. Just kind of getting back onto the readiness checklist on testing, please test all of your applications, right? From our research, we expect that 90% of most enterprise, corporate, and SMB customers will be using applications that will work natively or in an emulated environment, right? If we think about your workflow, if I think about mine, I'm using Office most of my day, most of my browser applications. I mean, even if I think about some of our competitors, Slack, maybe less Discord, but definitely Zoom. There are ARM64 versions of these applications available today, and they would run natively on these Copilot Plus PCs. But still, please test, right? We've had a few questions, for example, with SAP, which in that case was supported, but there are some old applications and legacy applications which may not work as smoothly. Printer drivers.
If I can just jump in there.
Yeah, Michael.
I've been using the Copilot PC for over a month now, and the experience has been pretty good. The Adobe suite has come a long way, and so it'll either let you install the native app, or it'll just tell you this is the I guess the x86 version while we develop a native version. But both experiences are pretty good. Where before I kind of got stuck in a loop. The other one to look at is that Windows on ARM software compatibility list. Again, it's crowdsourced, but it's showing close to 95% is actually either native or emulated and working, and only about 5% is not working. So it's a pretty good experience, and I've been having great success versus if you may have tried a Pro X on Windows 10 a few years ago, this is a totally different experience.
Absolutely, Michael. I think I was using the Pro 9 5G for the longest while, and it's a real big step change in terms of performance, but also compatibility. A call out on peripherals and accessories as well. I think I was finishing off a point around printer drivers. There's on the FAQ page, you'll see it addresses that. Using Windows Universal Print is probably the best way to address any printer drive issues. There is a very long list of compatible printers. I think we've worked very hard with printer vendors and companies to ensure that there is that compatibility with, I think, Michael, you were using or I think a colleague of ours was using a really old 10-year-old brother USB printer that was still compatible with the Copilot Plus PC. So absolutely, that's been a big learning from the Pro X and Pro 9 5G. And just to finish out with peripherals and accessories, monitors and plug and play devices generally will work, but of course, we recommend that you test for all of your end customer scenarios. Those 3 links that have been put into the chat, please do check it out. The FAQ page is regularly updated. It also refers to a service we have called App Assure. So if a customer has issues with compatibility, we recommend you tackle it in 2 ways. One is reach out to our App Assure team, and that is a dedicated team at Microsoft that is available for you to help troubleshoot issues, and they will work with vendors where appropriate to build compatibility for Windows 11 on ARM, but also speak to the software provider themselves. So in the SAP example I had, it's compatible at the moment, but if there's any problems, we recommended the customer go to App Assure, but also SAP tech support at the same time. And with that, I think I'm handing over to Mike to cover. Oh, sorry, I've got one more slide here. That's right, this is the links. So I was talking about App Assure here. That's on the PowerPoint here, but also on the FAQ page. For select larger customers, they may have access to Fast Track. Again, App Assure has been a service that's been around for many years, and it was previously attached to Fast Track eligibility, but because of the expected uptake of Copilot Plus PCs, we have removed any customer requirements to access the App Assure service. So please do reach out. And of course, test. If you have any sort of feedback around big applications that aren't compatible for your customers, please reach out to the App Assure team, but also let your disties know so that we kind of feed it back up to Corp and share that feedback, because we are very excited for these devices to go to market, but we do recognize that customers do need to be ready and have done the prerequisite testing before any large-scale deployments. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Mike to close us out.
Thanks, Patrick. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly cover off the pricing and programs that we have here. So you can see AI PC, that relates to, I've really got to think because there's so many numbers nowadays, laptop 6 and Pro 10. And as there always has been, there's deal registration. You can get special pricing if the opportunity is 500 units or more in New Zealand. The bid grid discounts, which start at 5+ units. There's education and not-for-profit. And then we're also doing promo pricing. There is a Copilot offer out there, which is for named end users, which if you come to us for a quote, we can tell you whether they fill into that. And there's a demo device program where as resellers, you can purchase up to 10 demo units in Microsoft's financial year from July 1st to June 30th at generally 50% off the RRP price. So that is also extended to the Copilot Plus PC, so the laptop 7 and Pro 11. But what you'll see there is only deal registration available on the Copilot Plus PCs. Now, one of the big reasons behind that is, as a general pricing approximation, the Copilot Plus PCs, for what is give or take the equivalent of the Intel equivalents, are 25% cheaper off the bat in RRP. So essentially, it doesn't matter if you're buying 1 or 200 units, the pricing will be the same. It's just that you do have the ability, if you've got the opportunity for an end user where they potentially will buy up to 25 units in a 9 to 12 month period, of deal registering them to get that extra 5% for yourselves. And if anyone doesn't understand any of that, feel free to reach out to myself or one of the team. Hopefully most of you know who we are. I'll put some faces to some names if you haven't. Obviously my face is already on here. But you've got Angela, who's our senior product manager, who's been in the Surface team, I think, for 10 years. So she's our most experienced. A lot of you will know Ben. Ben was the key account support person for the team and is now the business development manager, which he's been for the last couple of years. And we also have Vinod, who will answer a lot of the emails that go to the nzsurface@ingrammicro.com email address. So that's us as a team. We're here to help you where you can. We have our own fleet of demo units. So again, specifically with Copilot Plus, if you want devices to test or for your end users to trial, reach out to us. We do have a fleet. We also obviously have that for the other products in the Surface range. We can assist with deal rigging if you've got the opportunity there. Again, pricing, stock, and any kind of questions. We're here to help you try and close out a Surface opportunity. So utilize us where you see need fit. All right. And then almost near the end here. So current promos to call out. So there are the Pro 9 and Laptop 5 end of life specials. There isn't actually that much stock left of the Pro 9s and Laptop 5s. We managed to get some Pro 9 i5 16 256 Windows 11 stock about a week or so ago. So that's the black color that's in stock. And then pretty much else, I think there's a few remnants of i7 16 gig and i5 8 gig Pros and Laptop 5 sitting in Australia that we can access. I think most of those now are actually the last of the Windows 10 models. And then the other promotion we have at the moment is the 0% finance promo. And that's where if you've got an end user who's looking to buy 25 units or more of Laptop 6 or Pro 10, there is further discounting if they are looking to finance that. So we do have details on our webpage. I will show a link to that on the next slide. And as we said, Laptop 7 and Pro 11th edition, they are arriving this week. So we expect our initial stock to probably be booked in the next couple of days. Just a note there on the Pro 11th edition, the Snapdragon Elite versions, they come with the OLED screen, and then the Plus comes with just the standard LCD screen on that side. And then 5G, we finally have replacements for the Pro 8 LTE. We've got the Pro 10 version and the Pro 11 version. Both are due mid-October for our initial stocks. What we're suggesting, if someone is wanting even the Pro 11 or the Pro 10, test the Wi-Fi model for the time being, just to get ahead of the game in that space. Whoops, going back. I need to slide here. All right, here you can scan here. That takes you to the Ingram microsite for Microsoft Surface. So we have what the latest promos are on there, the product range overview, etc. So feel free to jump on that. We do update that. And then I'm going to open the floor to questions. I don't see any questions in the Q&A. Does anyone have any questions they'd like to put to Patrick, Michael, or even myself? Right, I don't think, I'm not sure if people can come off mute or not, so we'll take everyone's silence.
Oh no, Jonathan's got one. And Michael, I might answer from personal experience. So the Pro 11 and Laptop 7, no, they don't. I think I was working, I mentioned that I had been using those devices for the entire day, and at no point did the fan turn on. So they are super efficient. Like they might get a little warm if you're maxing out the CPU, the GPU, and the NPU. But yeah, never heard the fan turn on. Michael, what about you?
Yeah, it's they run pretty cool. Is how I'd explain it. I actually usually have a heat gun, like the infrared one. Again, if we're remnant of the COVID days, if you've got one of those ones that go on your forehead, you can actually change it to a temperature gauge on the side. So they run pretty cool in comparison to, if you are comparing them to the Intel devices, especially the H-class stuff, for that power in the Intel can get a little bit warm. these are, I guess, very power efficient, and especially when you're doing kind of some of the Teams calls with the blurred backgrounds and things like that, it is using the NPU instead of the CPU and graphics. So that's another way that it just stays more efficient, and saves battery life as well. So yes, they do not get hot under the skin, I guess. And Flex keyboard, I can see the question there. Essentially from Pro 8 and to Pro 11, all the keyboards are backwards and forwards compatible. So yes, the Flex keyboard will work on the old stuff, and the old stuff will work on the new stuff from Pro 8.
All right. It doesn't look like we have any more questions there. What I will just put up this slide here, which would be great if you could scan this and provide us some feedback, just to tell us how this webinar was for you. Did you get any value out of it? And if what you'd like us to do a webinar on something else with regards to Surface. So if you could spend a couple of minutes filling out that would be greatly appreciated. And now we'll probably get to the moment that most of you have come for, is the draw of the Laptop 7 Copilot Plus device. So Jesse, I know you're in the background there somewhere. Oh, yep, here comes the wheel. Are you clicking on the wheel, Jesse, or am I clicking on the wheel?
I can click the wheel. Just let me know when you want me to click it.
Yep, you can click it now. All right, well done, Oscar. We'll reach out to you to arrange that. As I say, the stock will hopefully be here later this week, so you should have it by next week. Thank you, everyone, for attending. We will send out some notes with regards to what we've covered here. And again, if you've got any questions from this, please reach out to the team, and we'll give you a few minutes back in your day. Thank you, everyone.